Hello, Stephen Nicholson here.
Hi, I'm Sam from Ipswich.
My name is Ola from Croydon.
Brexit has been going on now for 3 years.
Like most people, I am tired, I am frustrated.
Because politicians can't decide which way to go.
It's created division between friends and family and division across the whole country.
But all we are in the middle of is frustration. Brexit, Brexit, Brexit.
Like I say, the uncertainty for business is not good. It's really not good at all this uncertainty.
People are not investing or buying.
Talking and fighting about Brexit for so long, we've forgotten about what puts the great in Great Britain.
This country has so much to offer the world, and if we can just get through Brexit, we can prove that all the more.
I work on diseases like bipolar disorder and Alzheimer's. The UK is world class in tackling these diseases. However, our politicians are too busy arguing amongst themselves to be able to focus on the issues that matter.
We're a great country, and we need to remember that.
We need to unite, deliver on the democratic result, and then we can focus on important issues such as the NHS, policing and education.
Housing, transport, making our streets safer and uniting our country.
Let's concentrate on our infrastructure. Let's concentrate and get stability back in.
I'm Kevin Horrigan. Let's get Brexit done.
From Bromley, let's get Brexit done.
Hi, I'm Boris Johnson. I'm Prime Minister, and I'm campaigning to get Brexit done and take this country forward, because I think we've had 3.5 years of dither and delay, and I don't want any more. And I bet you agree with me. Whether you voted Leave or Remain, people want us to go forward. We've got a fantastic agenda as One Nation Conservatives. It's already happening. We're investing in 20 hospital upgrades, 40 new hospitals, 20,000 more police we're putting on the streets of our country. And we want to go forward lifting up and uniting our country with better education, better infrastructure and high technology. That's the agenda for the UK. It's a very exciting time for our country. Let's get Brexit done, unite our country and move forward.
Good evening. Good evening. Essex. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Look, in just 10 days' time, the British people will go to the polls to determine the future of our great country in an election that we didn't want to call. So the last Parliament, their persistent refusal to take decisions forced our hand. When the Prime Minister secured a new Brexit deal against expectations, MPs had a golden opportunity to come together in the national interest and deliver on their democratic mandate. Instead, they voted for more delay. And we can't allow this to continue. We can't allow this to drag on. So now, the British people have a choice. More division, dither, delay, or resolution. Reckless, unsustainable spending, or a plan to move this country forward. Higher taxes, or tax cuts for hard-working families. In the end, the choice is between someone who seems determined to side with our enemies, to talk down our prospects and undermine our economy, hurting low-paid, retired couples, small businesses, the very people we got into politics to help. Or they can choose a Prime Minister who is passionately committed to grasping the opportunities of the future, unleashing the potential of the whole United Kingdom, building on the record high employment levels and continuing the economic growth that we've seen since 2010. Celebrating and supporting the growing number of businesses that create our national wealth. Great businesses like this one, so that we can invest in our public services, helping families right across the UK to build the future that they deserve. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there are only two people who stand any credible chance of entering Downing Street on December the 13th. Boris Johnson or Jeremy Corbyn. 5p in the swear box. And you've got to remember, a majority Conservative government is the only credible option for those of us who want to see the referendum result delivered, who want to see the process of bringing our country back together begin. A vote for any other party, is a vote for a Corbyn-led alliance working to undermine and ultimately overturn the decision that this country took in 2016. It's a vote to squander 2020 on 2 more referendums. Because having abandoned Scotland and undermined Scottish Labour, Corbyn's only chance of power is to cut a deal with Nicola Sturgeon. And we all know her price. Another divisive referendum on ripping Scotland from the United Kingdom, destroying the most successful political union in human history. And I don't want to waste 2020 in that way. Our Prime Minister certainly doesn't either. After 3.5 years of procrastination, it's more than the UK can afford. Boris Johnson has a plan to bring the country back together and take us forward, to ensure that next year is a year of hope, of prosperity and growth, to invest in education, invest in infrastructure, invest in technology, create high-wage, high-skill, low-tax economy that gives families in every corner of the United Kingdom the opportunity to make the most of their lives. And we desperately want to get on with that. And because all 635 Conservative candidates standing in this election have pledged to support the Prime Minister's new Brexit deal, we will be able to. Should voters return a Conservative majority in 10 days' time, we will reintroduce the withdrawal agreement by Christmas and leave the EU by the end of January, meaning that we can refocus the horsepower of Parliament and of government on your priorities. We want to get Brexit done so that we can get on with making Britain the greatest place in the world to live, to go to school, to start a family, to run a business. We want to invest in our NHS, our schools, and our police, those brave men and women who patrol our streets and keep us safe. And ladies and gentlemen, the person entrusted with ensuring that critically important role is discharged happens to be a fellow Essex politician, my constituency neighbour, member of the most diverse cabinet in British history, my good friend, the Home Secretary, Priti Patel.
Gentlemen, friends, fellow Essex activists and members of all the associations, including Whittam, it's great to see you all here today. I'm so thrilled to be here, I really am. It's just so great. And you know what? Look, here we are, folks. Here we are with 10 days to go. And look, this can be an exciting 10 days. We want it to be an exciting and successful 10 days because we've got just 10 more days, folks, to secure a functioning Conservative majority. Doesn't that sound great? Yeah. A functioning Conservative majority that will unlock Parliament, as James has just said, and get Brexit done so we can deliver on the people's priorities, all the stuff that we all care about, all the things that you have been campaigning on day in, day out. And of course, a Conservative majority that will stop a coalition of chaos between Corbyn and Sturgeon and the dreadful, absolutely dreadful thought of 2 more referendums. And a Conservative majority government, of course, will stop that, stop those tax increases that Corbyn wants, but also stop the harm that he would do to our fantastic country. And friends, it is a fact. We are at a crossroads in our politics, and this election is close. But I think it's fair to say, now I know some of you in the room, I know that you will have energy, conviction, determination to safeguard our country. And we've got 10 days to do exactly that, to secure a Conservative majority, to get Brexit done, to unleash Britain's potential. And we owe it to the country. And as a party, we can do that because only our party, one of the greatest and most successful political parties in the world, is on the side of the people in this country, the hard-working, honest, law-abiding people. We are on their side, and we will deliver exactly what we promise. We promised that we would get a new Brexit deal, a better deal, and we got one that will allow us to maximise the opportunities of Brexit, while, of course, allowing us to develop a new and exciting partnership, yes, with Europe, but also the rest of the world, too. That's a promise that we have already delivered on. We promised that hospitals would finally get the investment that they need to match the devotion of our staff in the NHS, and we are delivering on the biggest investment in NHS infrastructure in a generation. That's another promise that we've delivered. And we promised, without apology, that our party would take its rightful place as a party of law and order in Britain once again, that we would stand with the brave men and women of our police and our security services, and that we would stand against the criminals by strengthening our laws to stop the most serious offenders and terrorists who seek to harm our people and our country, and stop them in their tracks. That's why, just a few months ago, weeks ago in fact, if you remember in that Queen's speech, we announced that we would automatically end that halfway release of the most serious criminals. And that's why we will introduce tougher sentences for terrorists. This party will always put the safety of the British public first. That's a promise that we will deliver. But of course, as you know, Parliament has been at a crossroads. Parliament has run out of road. And that is why we are having this election. So now, to deliver on those promises and even more, we need that functioning Conservative majority. And we can do this, folks. We can do this in 10 days' time by winning just 9 more seats to get Brexit done. So I know most of you are gearing up to get back out there on the doorsteps, and I'll take you there myself as well. So when we get out there, the choice that is offered, it's stark and it is clear. Corbyn's Labour, a vote for them would wreck the economy, push up our taxes, and wreck the entrepreneurial backbone of British businesses. A vote for Corbyn's Labour Party would abolish MI5 and dismantle our police and weaken our national security with more criminals on our streets and not in our prisons. It's a vote, as we know, for 2 more referendums, but of course it's a vote for an individual that does not share our values, who refuses to apologise for the vile anti-Jewish racism that has taken root in his party. So it's only the Conservative Party, with that majority, yeah, we'll get Brexit done, of course he will. We'll give businesses and families the economic certainty and security that they need. We'll get Parliament working for you and the British public all over again. Deliver on the real issues that matter to the British public. Invest in our NHS, invest in education. investing 20,000 more police officers, in case you haven't heard that enough yet. We'll introduce an Australian-style points-based immigration system, one that works in the best interest of the British public, one that attracts the best and the brightest to our country, and one that is under the control of the British government. But there's something else, folks. To achieve this and so much more, we all need to get out there together to tell the entire country that there is only one man, one Prime Minister who will get Brexit done and unleash Britain's potential. So, my friends, it gives me an enormous pleasure this evening to welcome here to Essex the most dynamic and determined leader of our great nation, a man with the most infectious optimism for our country and the people of our country. Boris Johnson, the leader of the Conservative Party and our Prime Minister.
Deal with these. No outrageous. To avoid any discussion.
This Parliament had become dysfunctional.
If I come back here with a working majority in Parliament, then I will get Parliament working again for you. When people get up at 5 a.m. to get their businesses ready, when they risk their own money or mortgage their own homes to develop a new product or a new venture, when they have the guts to find a new market at home or abroad, we don't sneer at them, we cheer for them and do what we can to help, because we understand that it's only by having a dynamic free market economy that we can deliver on our programme of uniting this country and levelling up with infrastructure, education and technology. And it's only if you have great public services that you can have a successful market economy. So I say come with us. That's the choice at this election. I hope very much that you will support us. Let's get Brexit done and unleash the potential of the whole United Kingdom. Good evening. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you. It's great to be here in Colchester. Thank you. I want to thank you all for what you've been doing, and thank you all very much. I know that you must have been standing on doorsteps pressing yet another buzzer with freezing fingers, and I want to say I did not want an election in the run up to Christmas. I didn't want it, and none of us did. We want an election in the run up? Of course we didn't. Of course we didn't. But let's face it, we had no choice, did we? We had no choice. We had to end the misery and paralysis of this hung Parliament, this growth-curbing, hope-thwarting, job-inhibiting, will of the people ignoring, Brexit-blocking Parliament. That's what it is, and this dog-in-the-manger Parliament. And that's why it was so vital to have this election and to remove this terminally broken-down Parliament from where it has expired like a bendy bus of the kind I banned, slap bang in the middle of the yellow box junction, stopping the traffic in every direction. And what we've really had to do, figuratively speaking, is go to the people of this country as if to a breakdown recovery van and the AA, and to say, get this country moving again with an election. And we're all the dino rod that will clear the blockage in the plumbing of our nation. And we can do it. We can do it. We can do it in just 10 days' time. We can get out of the rut that we've been in for the last 3.5 years. In just 10 days' time, we can end the deadlock and the division that we've seen. 10 days to secure a working majority government that will get Parliament working for you and delivering on the issues that matter to us all. Because it's only if you get a working majority that we can deliver on our transformative agenda set out in our manifesto, investing in the NHS, the biggest ever boost to the NHS in modern memory, 50,000 more nurses, 20 hospital upgrades, 40 new hospitals, tackling crime with 20,000 more police officers, stopping what I think you'll agree is the right thing to do, stopping the early release, the automatic early release of serious and violent offenders, not to speak of terrorists, not to speak of terrorists, fixing our schools, investing in our schools with record funding, lifting up funding both for primary and for secondary schools. And we can do it all without increasing your income tax, national insurance or VAT. That's our guarantee to you. But there's one more guarantee, of course, that we make, and that is that we can do one thing that no other party can do at this election. You know what it is? You know what it is? I thought you might know what it is. No flies on you. We can get Brexit done because we can do it because we have a deal. We have a deal, don't we? We have a deal, and every single one of the 630 plus Conservative candidates, and you know they haven't been lobotomized. They're all doing it of their own free will. This isn't some North Korean ceremony. They're all doing it because they can see it's a great deal. And from every point of view on the spectrum of European opinion, our party is coming together to support this deal, and we're in sharp contradistinction, I might say, to the Labour Party on that. And this deal delivers everything that we campaign for. We take back control of our money, so actually we can spend hundreds of millions more on the NHS. We can take back control of our borders, an Australian-style points-based system, so we can decide who comes here for the good of the UK economy. We take back control of our laws, free ports, free trade deals, everything from banning the live shipment of animals to cutting VAT on tampons. And the great thing about it is, unlike previous arrangements, the whole of the UK comes out. England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland together. And it is ready to go. It is oven ready. In fact, we can get it through Parliament before anybody will have even cooked their turkey, or at least on the second reading. It's ready to go. We can get it back into Parliament before you cook your turkey. And then we can get on with the fantastic projects on which this government is already engaged, uniting our country, levelling up across the whole of the UK with better infrastructure, better education and technology. And we Conservatives, we One Nation Conservatives, can make those investments with credibility, precisely because we have restored public finances with sound management of the economy, and because we understand, unlike any other party at this election, we understand the symmetrical importance of a dynamic free market system. And actually that is why, it's precisely because we understand that balance and symmetry at the heart of the UK economy, that this party is more trusted on health, now, absolutely, and on education than the Labour Party. And that is the balance and symmetry at the heart of our One Nation Toryism. And that's the problem with Bolivarian revolutionary socialism as practiced by Jeremy Corbyn. It's absolutely true. It would be comical if it weren't so tragic. Every Labour government since the war has ended up with higher debt, higher unemployment, and an economic crisis. The only difference with this lot is they won't end with an economic crisis, they'll start with one, because they're pledged already to put up taxes on pensions, inheritance, corporations, property, gardens, £1,000 more income tax for people on as little as £20,000 a year. Public spending at 1.2 trillion and climbing. And they know that their plans are so irresponsible that they want to bring back exchange controls as if this country was Cuba or North Korea. No one else has exchange controls. And so the choice before us is so clear and so stark. You can come with us, a party that supports fantastic education for every pupil, or go with Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party who actually want to abolish Ofsted that protects children from bullying and keeps them safe in schools. We support our armed forces and believe they're a fantastic power for good around the world. He wants to ban them. Jeremy Corbyn wants to ban them, and he said he can't see any circumstances in which he would deploy them. We support our security services in the fight against terror to keep us safe. John McDonnell has said he would scrap MI5. We back our police. We believe in giving them the powers they need to keep our streets safe and keep our people safe. Diane Abbott thinks stop and search is oppressive and inappropriate. We want to control. I mean, I'm in favour of people of talent coming to this country, aren't you? Of course we are. We want to, but we want to control our immigration system democratically, don't we? And he wants unlimited, Corbyn has said he wants unlimited and uncontrolled immigration, no matter what pressure that puts on public services. We Conservatives want the UK to stand tall in the world and to stand by our allies and our values. And he's so consumed by a juvenile dislike of America that he actually backs the mullahs of Tehran over Washington. And, as some of you may remember, when Russia ordered the poisoning of innocent people in Salisbury, he actually parroted the Kremlin line and suggested we should send the evidence to Moscow for examination. Do you remember that? Above all, and here's the critical difference. And of course, we believe in cutting taxes. He'd raise taxes on ordinary people, £2,400 for every taxpayer. But we also believe in getting Brexit done. Whereas he wants to waste another whole year in dither and delay. Well, of course, with the additional threat of another referendum on Scotland, even though in 2014 the people of Scotland were told that it was a once-in-a-generation event. But he's prepared to break up the union, and he may be like Macbeth in his dithering, but the shots will be called by Lady Macbeth in the form of Nicola Sturgeon. And I think we all know who's going to be wearing the tartan trousers in that relationship, don't we? And of course, another, what we can't escape, because he said he wants it. If we would have a Corbyn-Sturgeon coalition, I'm afraid that would be the only logical, another referendum on the EU, when he continues to insult the British people by refusing to tell them what his own position would be on his own nonsensical deal that he proposes to spend the 3 months after January negotiating. I mean, can you imagine the scene in Brussels? Act 1, Scene 1, enter Corbyn, stage left, Barnier, centre stage, bonjour, Monsieur Corbyn, comment allez-vous? Tell us about this wonderful deal that you want to do. Tell us what sort of parliamentary support do you have it? Who backs it in your shadow cabinet? Quoi? You mean nobody's in favour of your deal, Mr. Corbyn? Not Monsieur MacDonald, not Monsieur Starmer, not Madame Abbott? Then qui? And the answer is there's absolutely nobody who supports his deal, apart from Jeremy Corbyn himself, and not even he supports it. So why on earth are we going to spend another 3 months negotiating such a deal, when then another 6 months to have a referendum on that ludicrous deal, when the people of this country are aching to move on? And I think we all know that there's a comic element to it, but we also know it's disastrous. It's disastrous for the economy because it means more delay, more acrimony, more uncertainty, stopping investment from coming in. There's a tidal wave stopping decisions from being made, stopping people from hiring, people getting on with their jobs, investing in property. There's a tidal wave of investment waiting to come into the country if we can get Brexit done, get our deal over the line as we can, and it's ready to go. According to the paper this morning, one bank estimates that there's £150 billion of investment waiting to come in as soon as we get our deal done, as soon as we get it over the line. And let me ask you, ask everyone, what would you rather have for Christmas? Would you rather have £150 billion of investment into the UK or Corbyn's plans for 2 referendums? And that's the choice. Let's make next year a year of prosperity and growth, not a year of 2 referendums. Let's make it a year about the people of this country and not about its politicians. Let's get going and make this country the greatest place to live, to bring up a family, the greatest place to do scientific research, the cleanest, greenest country on earth with the most far-reaching environmental agenda, the greatest place to go to school, to university, the greatest place to start a business, large or small. And don't forget, the best way to run a small business under John McDonnell is to start with a large one, by the way. And that's the reality. Let's make this place the greatest place on earth. And when you go out from Colchester tonight, when you go out from this place, I want you to tell your family and friends about the choice that faces this country. Because with just 9 more seats, we can get a working majority in Parliament, a Parliament that works for you. we can take this country forward and escape the morass of the last 3.5 years, or else we can have Groundhog Day under Corbyn and Sturgeon with yet another hung Parliament, miserable, acrimonious, paralysed and unable to deliver on the priorities of the people. Is that what we want? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's take this country forward instead. Let's get Brexit done and get on with our project of sensible, moderate, dynamic, tax-cutting, but one nation Conservative government. Thank you all very much for coming along tonight. Thank you. Thank you all very much. 10 days, folks. 10 days to get it done. 10 days. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you all. Good night. Thank you.